Hello, everybody. Welcome again to another episode of the Papis podcast, together with Tom Lashkar, Floris Pinter, and Nevin Henriquez here today, all the way from Aruba. And where are you guys located again, Floris?
Barcelona, sunny
Yeah, in
Barcelona.
Barcelona, bro.
Sunny
All the way.
Barcelona.
Okay.
I'm actually going to be in sunny Barcelona in just a bit together. The Papis reunited. So, yeah, it's going to be a different setting other than these screens, right?
Yeah,
Can't wait.
it will be amazing.
It's going to be
So,
beautiful. So today, just to introduce the topic, we just shared on our planning because we are master planners, always on time, always having shit straight planned out. Today, people, we have planned for you to speak about stress management. And sometimes when you don't plan, you tend to be stressed and stressful. But I'm sure that there are other ways to also manage your stress effectively, or let's say to avoid stress to begin with. So we have two masters here in the call that is going to be also sharing. So I would love to hear about you guys. How are you guys feeling this week? We're feeling stressed, okay, relaxed.
more relaxed. Yeah, I was a bit stressed the last weeks, but I went for a trip this weekend, helped me to relax. So also it's like a way not to release stress. Also, it's like to sometimes get out of the routine. But yeah, just I wanted to mention also that I think stress is part of life, and it's not to avoid the stress. I think that's what we are talking is about managing stress and not removing stress. Because I don't think you can remove stress, or otherwise you live in the mountain with like alone maybe. But I think you will always be stressed. But I think the key is to learn how to deal with the stress and still living with it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Also,
So
stress can be healthy. Stress can be good because if you have no stress, then you have no pressure. If you have no pressure, then what do? You just don't do nothing with your life. I feel like.
yeah,
So I also really I love to look at this as like a more spiritual perspective. I think we talked about this as well about in the problems episode. So if you haven't listened to this one yet, you can go back and check it out. And where Tom said, a problem always has two sides because it's like through the problem that you often find new solutions in your life or that you can be able to upgrade. And I also feel that stress is an essential spiritual side where you have heaven and you have hell, and it's when you're in hell that you want to reach for the stars and go to heaven. Or it's like when you're able to feel the stress, that you know that there is like movement going on, kind of similar to when you go to the gym. It's probably one of the best or most basic examples is you put stress on the muscles, you break the muscle tissues because of the stress, the power, and this allows you to grow and become into a stronger person. But of course, uh, physical stress is just one of the types of stress. But you have mental, emotional stress, stress within your family, stress within your work, stress within all of the areas of life. But I do believe that all stress do hold one type of similar frequency. It's like the frequency of your body reacting, being in this fight or flight mode. And I would love to then understand what is the opposite for you guys of stress, right? So since we want to like map out the emotion itself.
I think maybe it's calmness, like being calm, peace, no, peace of mind, or bliss. Maybe it can be like a state, like a very spiritual state of bliss. But I just wanted to, because now I got a quote from, or like I saw a video from Jeff Bezos, and he was saying, I think when he was a bit younger, and he said that most people think that they are stressed because they do many things. You're stressed because you have many things to do. But he said that it doesn't come from this. Stress comes from the lack of action. It's when you didn't do the things that you were supposed to do or that you are supposed to do that you get stressed. And this is really interesting, I think, to see stress this way, because I think this is what helped me to release stress is to, it's not to do, it's not because actually I focus on maybe one or two things in my day, but it's when, if I don't do this thing or if I haven't yet done this thing, then I feel stress. It was a bit what you said about the planning. And this is, I think it's a good way also to manage the stress or to be aware of it.
Yeah, for me the same actually. So even if let's say I do a few things or a lot of things, that doesn't really matter because if I know that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, that's when I'm stressing, right?
Yeah.
It could be just one thing. If I'm not doing that one thing, bro.
And in my personal life, I realized it also becomes a vicious cycle, because it's because of the stress, you don't have the right energy to do this thing. So it's like you don't do it, you feel stressed, and because you feel stressed, you don't do it. And it's just like an endless cycle where there has to be some type of change or shift or some type of courage. Because I believe also courage helps you to relieve stress. Maybe there's something you have to tell somebody that's being disrespectful towards you, or you're in a relationship that you're feeling stressed, and it takes courage sometimes to release it. So let's look at stress also more from a scientific point of view. If you say the material, let's say there's an iron beam that's holding up the foundation of a hotel, and now the material is under stress because the weight of the hotel is pushing down on this piece of metal, right? So it's like either it snaps and breaks, or the metal is hard enough and it bends a bit, but it holds the stress. But I believe even looking at this as human beings as well, it's like our ability to bend, our ability to withstand the forces of Mother Nature, but also the forces of emotions, of thoughts, of people around us. How do we become stronger? How do we become stronger metal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think also it comes from because most of the stress that we have, we created our own stress. Sometimes we think it's like from the outside that you get stressed because of someone, because of the circumstances, but sometimes it comes from your own stress. And I will give you an example, actually a very practical one and very recent one. Yesterday, I went to I went to have a trip, and I rented a car. And the car I took an insurance like for damage. But at the beginning I didn't want to take like the insurance because of course you have to pay extra. But the guy, when he was telling me, yeah, if you make like a bump or something, it's like 1.5K per bumps. So then I got, wow, yeah, okay, I will take the insurance, no? It's like he used a bit stress to, like I got maybe stressed and I said, okay, I will take the insurance. And then what happened? Yesterday, I bumped into the garage. Like when I went to get out, I touched the car and it was like all the car was a bit bumped. So then hopefully it's okay, I was covered. But in the moment, I was a bit stressed. No, I say, fuck, maybe it's not covered in the insurance. Maybe I have to pay, I don't know how much. And so then this is very interesting because then it's like your own stress. And so then what I did is like for maybe for a few minutes, I was a bit stressed, but then I said, you know what? It's okay. I let it go. I will enjoy my trip. I don't have to worry now. Maybe I will see it later when I go back and go back with the car, no? And at the end, I went back and nothing happened. The guy saw it, of course, but he said, yes, it's okay. It's covered with your insurance. You have nothing to pay. It's perfect. And then I felt more released and stuff. But what I mean is like I could have fucked up my day because I of this talk that I had in my head. And I think it's the same for many, many things. Not only for this was like an example, but for many things that you can do for, let's say you want to talk to a girl, or I don't know, you're like stressed, or you want to start a business and you're stressed, but you don't know until you do, no?
Yeah, but there's a lack of knowledge because the same happened to me a few years ago when I rented the car first time
Ooh.
and I bumped it, and I was like, fuck, what is going to happen now? How much I'm gonna pay? And then it turns out it was covered, and I was like, okay, so since it's covered, I'm gonna get it, covered every single time. So that's the first thing I get. So yeah, bro, don't worry, it's gonna get covered. But
No, I
but
know
if you
what I
don't
mean.
know, then your mind comes in and it starts, like sabotaging your whole trip.
Yeah.
So I really love to make references to the dictionary. I love understanding words, where they come from. Again, it's a sound. No, we're discussing an emotional, mental concept that human beings all around the world understand, but it's actually a sound. Sorry, it's like stress. Just say this word. Hey, how are you doing today? And you just say stress. The person already like, oh my god, let me avoid talking to this person because they're gonna give me and infect me with the stress. It's a sound. So what does the sound activate? So this is what the dictionary says. It says, first, like I mentioned, not the metal. It says pressure or tension exerted on a material object. But we're human beings, right? We're not a material object. So the second one is a state of mental or emotional strain or tension. resulting from adverse or demanding circumstances. Adverse or demanding circumstances. So guys, how are you aspiring to be a papi, an entrepreneur, ready to put yourself in demanding circumstances and not expect to feel some stress? Being a papi is saying, come on, stress, I can handle it. Bring it on. But how do you handle it? And how do we bring it on?
Very powerful, bro. Yeah. And also, I
Yeah.
feel also that the stress, I feel more stressed also when I cannot, if I see that I cannot control. I mean, sometimes, no, I mean, sometimes we can get stressed on something, we cannot even control the things. No, I can get stressed because something happened, but I don't have any impact. So, but then I feel when you know that you have the responsibility and you have the power to control it, then also the stress disappears because you know, okay, it's okay, I can handle it. It's on my power. Let's say something happened, okay, I know I can change it because I have the power to make it better. I have the power to make it different. But sometimes when it's something that you cannot control, then you get stressed because you feel that you cannot change it. But why do you worry about something you cannot change? You know, so it's also very interesting. But yeah, I think especially now with all the things that is happening in the world, a lot of people get stressed about like the wars and stuff, and people like really get like sad and stressed. But why? Oh, why do you put your emotions? This is my opinion, maybe I'm direct, but why do you get stressed about something that you don't have any impact on, or you don't have any influence? Or maybe how can you put yourself into a state or a place of influence that you can actually change the things? And this is different. But if you're like a normal person, you know, you're not like a president or something, maybe you cannot do anything about it. So why do you stress about it? And yeah.
Well, just like to give an example on this part, I once also had a chat with my mentor, and he was telling me, the world needs more peace. I was in a judgmental state, and I said, hey, but look at this war that's happening in Ukraine. This country was like booming and suddenly broken down, and now I get to see all these videos, and it's like, what, should I not care? Like, how should I react to this? Like, it's like fairly fucked up, right? What's happening? And the way he said it is like, you know what? The way the world is built, there has to be these negative effects, these negative experiences in order to bring empathy into us so that we can understand how valuable life is. So also to see like big world events that you don't have control over them, to just also understand what positive somehow is being projected, no, towards these, or what can you learn from it, or how can you do it differently. I think it's very, very important. And also, I think what Tom mentioned about stress in general. No, Flo said this was very beautiful, Flo. I want to come back to this topic. You said stress is a lack of knowledge
Mm.
because Tom didn't know if the car was being covered or not. He didn't know, and the not knowing made his brain project all types of fake scenarios or maybe real ones. But if you don't know, it's easy to stress, right? Let's say a manager of a big giant company, hey, whatever can happen, but because this guy has been in all kinds of situations, he can handle it. But you put somebody new in there, they will die the first day. But it's the knowing, right? But what
Yeah.
do you need to know in order to not be stressed? What is
It's
the
very,
essentials?
but also,
So now you can bump all your cars and you're safe.
Yeah. Oh, it's fine, guys. I'm covered. I already had this happen before. Experience and
Yeah.
stress is not valid. No?
But it
But
also makes you drive like less stressed. So if you drive less stressed, then you drive better, right?
Mm.
Which means less accidents.
Yeah, but also life is uncertain. No, you cannot be certain about things that are 100% that are going to go 100% the way you expect. Yeah, it's always you have always uncertainty. Even like in the market, if you do trading or etc. No, the purpose of trading, for example, of like financial is to try to predict the future.
Mm.
But of course, there is never 100% certainty. There is always a percentage of uncertainty and kind of an amount of stress or risk. No, we can call it also a risk. But what I mean is that even you can have the best knowledge, there is always a moment of uncertainty or like a percent of uncertainty that will bring you stress. And then to go a bit deeper on this is how much faith do you have? Because when things are uncertain, sometimes we do things that we are uncertain, but we still do them because we have a certain optimism or a certain faith that it will go the way, it will go a good way, or we will be fine. And I think this is also very powerful to release stress, is to have faith in not only in God or not in not it doesn't have to be in a religion or anything, but faith that things are going to get better. And this also releases so much stress when you release things this way.
Wow.
No, it's powerful. It's so true.
I think, guys, like, even though I wanna give like millions of types of stress relief pills and systems you can use on your Google Calendar and all kinds of things in my masculine mind also says, hey, tell the guys to do this. The Papi. What Tom said again is also one of the most beautiful things. And I can combine what Flo said and what Tom said. Flo said it's about knowing, correct access to information. And now to Flo, Tom said faith. And I also feel it's about knowing more about God, about the universe, about building this faith. Because if you know that whatever happens, if you're protected, you're guided, that life is built for you, that you are an angel, everything is going towards you. What is there really to stress about? Because if I can say I've learned all types of ways of handling and managing my day, but the biggest stress reliever that I have is my faith. And I don't want to make it too religious, guys, but I just want to have faith in that it's going to be a beautiful day. I literally have faith that this call, even though I came on a bit later than expected, I have faith that with Tom and Flo, always we have amazing conversations. Faith in myself, faith in humanity, faith in my future. But I believe that faith also comes from a place of knowing. And of course, when it comes to the universe, well, you can't know anything. You cannot know what you can see. But I believe that there's so much books out there. There's so much things that you can also know about to release the stress. Meditation, connecting with your higher self, your love, reading, inspiration. I think that's really a base of a lot of faith as well, guys.
Yeah, but it's really right what you said. Because let's say I want to make I want to grill a steak. No, I just want to cook like a nice steak. Sorry for the vegans watching, but let's say you want to grill a steak. You know by physics, by the law, that if you put fire on the steak, it will become grilled. So you cannot get stressed about these things because it's like common knowledge that you get. But what I mean is like, it's also something that if you repeat many times, you know that will always have the same outcome. So you will not get stressed about these small things. And also, I think in many, many areas, let's say in business, I will give an example. The more you do, the more you repeat the action, the more you do, the more you will know how it will happen. The more you will get, maybe at the beginning, the first person that put a piece of meat into fire, maybe they thought it will blow up and create a big bomb, or maybe we didn't know what will happen. But because they did it, then they saw, okay, it's cooked, it's better, the meat is better like this, and like whatever. What I mean is like the more you repeat, also the more you do, and the more you learn, as you said, flow like with knowledge, but also the more you do, the less stress you will have because you get comfortable, or you get knowledge from it, you get more certainty. So I think sometimes if we are stressed about something or uncertain, it's because maybe you haven't done the things many times. You have to learn, you have to do it. Sometimes we are stressed about things that we have never done.
Yeah. And that's when you do things, that's when you get that's when you get secure, and that's when you get confident in doing the thing. And it's like I think it's funny because I was on the phone with my brother before, and we talked about investing. And it's like, people who have money, let's say you have like 10K whatever in Bitcoin, whatever. And it's like the unknown, it's stressful. There are people who are like stressing over it, right? There are some people who are not, but in general, I think most people are pretty stressful when it comes to this. But it's a skill, the more you stress about it and you start understanding it and you have the knowledge, the less stressed you are. So for example, if you would know that in 2 months you make, I don't know, 20% no matter what, you wouldn't be stressed, you know. But because it's uncertain, you just don't know, and then you start stressing. But also lack of experience.
Yeah. But it's
Love it
powerful what
because
you
I
say,
know
yeah.
that Tom is very into trading as well, into the platforms. The way I see trading, or the way I think if they even call it, is kind of, it's like risk management.
Yeah.
It's like you have a portfolio and you manage risk. It's like you're willing to put 1 million on the line, knowing that you can make 2 million from it, or you can lose 500,000 from it. And it's like risk assessment. And even in business, even going to talk to the beautiful girl that you so deeply love and desire, is stress, it's
Yeah.
risk. And I believe a
Yeah.
man is made to go into stress. If you look at history, we are always the soldiers, we are the warriors, we are the presidents, we are stress managing machines.
Yeah.
Your ability to manage the stress in all areas, if it's in business, if it's in it's so essential. But I would love to also, from your personal perspective, guys, I would love to understand a bit more. What are certain practices that you have? Maybe you can mention two to just make it like people can get 6 specific tools that you can also use, and it can be all different. So this is what I love, that everybody might have a different tool. As I'm having this call and my mind flew to some places and I'm like, hey, my God, maybe I'm also feeling stressed right now because there's some stuff I need to deliver and finish and I didn't do it. I'm like, oh my God. And then I said, oh my God, today I did not do my mind dump. It's like when you dump your mind. So this is one of the big stress tools that I use in my life, that I do once a week, even sometimes even every day, where the idea would be to take a piece of paper and you would literally write down every single thing that comes up for your mind. It can be chores, things you have to do, messages, projects, and you just keep writing. It doesn't matter the order. It doesn't matter if it looks nice, if it's 2 papers or a whole book, but you just write until you finish writing and you just let it go. Don't look at it even, but just do this download of info, which you can after go sort out, manage. But in my experience is that when you keep shit in your head, it expands because the mind is like a garden and it keeps growing. Everything is in the garden. So this is really my tip, or one of them. And I will pass the mic for you guys. So Flo, you haven't spoken that much. What would be one practical thing that you do in any sense? Can be meditation.
Yeah.
What would you recommend? What is your way?
So yeah, I wanted to say this also, because Trello or Notion or any of these apps literally saved my life. And the brain dump, I do it every day, and I got to the point now it became a habit. So whatever something comes up, I just put it there, and then after a few hours when I have time, I sort it out so I can I want to do it today, tomorrow, what it is. So just getting back to this, I think everyone should do it. It's life changing, I think. For me, sports. I love doing sports, and yeah, just it can be anything, pretty much whatever helps. Running, boxing, gym. You can choose your weapon, but for me, I started working out 12 years ago, and it was always part of my life, and I never really stopped. But I was actually sick now for 5 weeks straight, and I didn't go to the gym, and I could feel the difference, right? So yeah, for me, training is one of the best ways to release stress.
Very beautiful.
It can be anything. It can be anything. It can be literally anything, whatever works.
No, there are many ways. I think we are all different. I think for me also meditation helps a lot, or breathing, taking just few minutes to breathe. It's very helpful a lot. But also to go back a bit what you said about risk management, also for me it helps a lot to understand the risk and the reward. Because if I see that I'm stressed about something that I can maybe the reward is higher than the risk, then I don't have to be too much stressed, because even if I lose, or even if it doesn't go the way I want, it's okay, I took the risk, and maybe it's better to take it. But if I see that the outcome or the reward is lower than the risk, or that the thing I can lose, then maybe I can get stressed. So also it's like trying to understand the pros and the cons about my actions. See that if I do something, maybe something a bit risky and stressful, will I get more from it? Maybe I lose a bit, but maybe it's okay. I take the risk and I accept this stress. And this also helps me to manage it and to be more okay with it, because then I know that it's not it's just I took it. It's like more analytical. Me, I'm a bit more analytical in this way. I try to see if it's you know, like the win lose ratio, like to see. And then this way, it's there are tools to reduce stress and risk. And of course, there are many ways, like I said, meditation, etc., helps a lot also, and journaling also helps a lot.
You see how we got 3 answers, and all of them are right, and none of them are the best answer because it depends on everybody. And I love how Tom was able to reflect. He said, you know, I'm a bit more analytical, so I like to understand what are the risks and what are the rewards involved. Amazing. You know, for me, maybe I like to draw and I would want to make something creative on paper that I can understand. And flow is into sport. And maybe each tip will work better for you, but it's good to try a combination of all of these tips and these ways of being. I feel that it's very yeah, very important to
Yeah,
understand that.
because let's say you want to go and speak in public. No, you are like you have to speak in front of your classroom, or I mean, like when you're younger, or you have to go and make a conference, speak. What are the risks involved? What's the worst scenario? I think also when you change your way of thinking, what is the worst scenario that can happen? What is the worst thing? And when you like really see it that way, you say, okay, this is the worst way. Okay, and then you maybe it's not comfortable, but then you know, is it like really, am I okay with this worst scenario? Let's say I go on scene and people don't like what I say. They boo, they boo me, they throw me tomatoes, and they
Mm.
like go away. But also, what will be the best scenario? Maybe people are inspired. Maybe I can change their life, or it can inspire them to take action. And is it worth it for me to take this risk, no, or to go there and to speak? And maybe I'm okay getting some tomato. I can go have a shower. I'm clean. You know, it's not like it's not incredible. It's fine. I will be fine at the end. So what I mean is like also trying to. I think I'm an optimistic person. I always try to see as a good thing. But also I from a mentor also what I've learned. Sometimes you look at the worst scenario, see it as negative also, and it's okay because then you feel less stress also when you sit like this.
Because sometimes I think also when you look at the worst scenario, really write it out, really think this is not even gonna happen. Like maybe in your mind, you're like, probably they'll throw eggs on me, like Tom said. But when you really write it down, they're like, wait, who is even gonna have eggs in the first place in this? It doesn't even make sense. So I think it's good to reason with the worst case scenario. I actually wanted to share that's a really good tip, Tom. Really powerful tip.
That's how our mind works, right? It always looks for the worst of the worst, and then it stops us. But like if I think back on my life, I was always afraid about things and they never happened, right? So it's like, or maybe the 1% happened.
And what
So
what I think is powerful, Flo, what you mentioned, and Tom, is like when you can take this analyzation brain that is looking for the worst case scenario, write them down, and then write a recipe to avoid each one of them. Because maybe you say, oh, maybe I will stutter in my speech. I will go and I will forget. Well, then make sure that you practice the speech, and then you wouldn't have to care about that. Maybe say, oh, maybe I go and my suit doesn't look well. Well, maybe if you can just prepare a bit extra and make sure somebody checks your suit and the mic for you, and that will not happen. But it's about not just thinking about the worst case scenario, but I believe that like really the release of stress has really a lot to do with writing, with planning out, with knowing what is to come. And even if you don't know, at least you can project what might happen and you're already done. Like I got this really good I really recently organized an event where I had a guitar player to come. And in my mind, I was like, this guy's just gonna come with his guitar, he's gonna be able to make music, easy, easy. And the day of the event, oh my god, I didn't know how to get electricity. People came late. All this stress came up for me. And the guy, the one that is producing this event, the one helping the guitar player, he said, you know what? I came here 3 days ago and I walked through 5, 6 different scenarios of what could possibly go wrong. And the scenario was that we didn't have electricity. Well, he figured it out and he already planned. He had 3 long cables in the car. He already knew where to plug it in. He already was 10 steps ahead of me. And this guy was calm as hell. Was like, "Oh, Nevin, don't worry, fix it." And after he gave me feedback, it's like, "Dude, you gotta prepare better and stuff." But during the situation, this guy had 10 following steps for me and was able to guide me and immediately stand up as the leader. So I really believe also projecting. The projecting is a tool that your brain can use against you, but you can transform this projection tool into something very powerful to be able to
Incredible. Yeah.
prepare.
Since I don't know if you guys do, I don't do, but if you do play chess, because it's a bit what you say, Nevin. It's like having
Mm,
being ahead of the person of the opponent to have like
yeah,
5, 10 like things behind before the person. No, like the guy, well, he like he prepared everything right before everything happened. This is incredible. And yeah, having like all these options already set up, then you know that it's okay. If it goes scenario A, then you will act this way. If it goes the other scenario, it's okay. You're also prepared. If it goes this scenario, you'll say it's fine. You're also prepared, and then you're like released. No, you have no stress. Very powerful
wow.
tip also. Very powerful tip.
Yeah.
It's a powerful I really believe that your ability, and I will say this, is the same with communication in my own life. And it's my core belief that your ability to communicate will determine your success in all areas of life. But it's the same for stress management. Your ability to manage stress as things happen will determine whether you react to the stress or whether you are able to process, to think, and to take a decision, to take an informed decision, even under stress. This will really mean life or death. In many cases, it will mean life or death. And I think it's such a beautiful skill, bro, that we can really open up upon this convo.
Yeah, it was very interesting, guys, to talk about stress management because I think is as you Nevin said, I think is one of the most crucial tool, or not tool, but like things you have to learn in your path in life, not only in business, but in general. In general, because life, you have a lot of stress all the time, and you need to be able to manage it.
Yeah.
So as we shared, just some 3 tips again, we can just reframe again. So I mentioned brain dump. It's like the art of just taking a piece of paper, writing down all of your thoughts, ideas, suggestions, plans, goals you might have that you're just running in the back of your mind and you're putting them on paper. Tom shared as well that he loves to be able to look at the worst case scenario, kind of like risk management, understand what is the worst that can happen, but also what is the best that can happen and weigh these out. If the best is much stronger than the worst, what do you care? Go for it. Take that risk. Go for it. And Flo also shared one thing, beautiful thing that even though it's about a lot of times stress is an emotional, energetic thing, it shows up in your body and that you can also exercise in order to release the stress in a different way because it's stored in your body and by exercising you're able to let it go. So very beautiful tips.
Hmm. Yeah. Also, I really love what Flo said about the knowledge, because I think this really also stress and fear is really related also to lack of knowledge.
Lack of
Like,
knowledge, to knowing,
because
to
as you
knowing
said,
what you want.
yeah, as you said, Nevin, when you have stress, no, it creates a loop and then you freeze. No, as you said, you don't want to do the things, you freeze, and then you're in a state of inaction, or you're in a state of you're stay stable. You're not moving. You're not even moving
Yeah.
forward, or even you're not even going backward. You're just like frozen. And
Yeah, and I think to really connect back with what you said as well, Tom, is that the stress is a lack of action in an area of life. It's a lack of action. And the only way to break this cycle of not doing it, stress, and then more stress to not do it, it's just an action. It can be a mini action, it can be, but it's some type of impulse that just like, huh, you do it, huh, and it can break the cycle. But it comes from a place of energy and having the right mentality. The one last small tip that I can give is often if you want to do an action that will release the stress. Tom said you can imagine the worst case scenario, but I also want you to imagine yourself doing this action. Imagine how you do it, how you stand, how you move, how you visualize the action until you also internally build the energy that you can perform it in the real life. So it's like to charge yourself up positively with the action, so it's easier to do, or you already tricked yourself that you already did this action. This is, of course, manifestation, the law of attraction, but I believe that this is also a key to releasing the stress.
Yeah, a lot. I saw a video also about this, Nevin. It's like a guy said, you imagine yourself doing the action. So you imagine doing what you wear, or you look like, or you do it, etc. And then you do it. And when you finish doing the task, then you say, thank you, my old self, for making me doing this action. And like you get grateful for, because you created it in the past, no, by visualizing it. And by doing this, then you'll get very intentional about everything that you do. And you kind of you become the creators, like really, you really become the law of attraction, the manifester, the creator. This is also
Definitely.
very interesting.
To wrap it up, I would also just want to remind everybody that stress is an indicator. Imagine it's like a red light factory saying that something is fucking going on. There's something jammed, there's some dangerous shit, there's something you have to pay attention to. So don't avoid the stress. Listen to it, understand what it's trying to tell you, so you can find the right steps, the actions, or the clarity you need to be able to go through it. But I really believe that the stress is similar to a light, like a siren that says, hey, you need to take a look here. There's something going on. And often we want to say, oh, let me avoid looking at this light. But it's when you look at it that you can understand what's happening. Next level up, Papi mode, Papi status.
Yes. Thank you
So
for
beautiful
listening.
people. Yes, we're
Because-
gonna round off the call for today.
Thank you. I hope please comment a bit on the YouTube channel, on the video. What is your main stress? What do you worry the most? So maybe you can also comment. We can also find some solutions, or also what is your main tool, no, your main method for you to release stress? Because now as we said, there are many ways to release stress, and we shared our own. But I'm very curious to know what are yours, like what are your ways to release stress?
Exactly. And keep sharing it. And the moment you share or ask a question, everybody else can see it. And it's a magical gift. It's a really a gift to us all when you do ask a question or share. So thank you for noting that, Tom. Yes.
No,
Flo,
because
any
Thank you.
words?
yeah, go Flo.
We go.
Smash smash the like and subscribe button, and leave your feedback, and feel free to ask questions, and we are always here for you guys. And yeah,
And last
as
thing
always,
to say,
yeah.
don't remember that you're never alone. Maybe you feel a stress about something in life, but someone else also experiencing the same. And that's why, Nevin, very powerful what you say. If you can comment in the video, and you will see maybe people with the same worries, and so then it will also make you realize that you're not alone, and it's fine. It will go fine.
Yeah.
It's always will go fine. You will think about all of the stresses that you've ever had in life and how many of them have long passed and you haven't even thought about them anymore. They were like just a fake illusion that you created. So I trust that all of your current stresses are also going to be dissolved within just a few days, few weeks, or a few months. Just keep going, Papis. Stay strong, stay vibrant,
And
and stay
peace.
stress free.
Love you
Have
guys.
a
See you in the next
beautiful,
one.